Commander Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his ship, the U.E.'s Vengeance. Through the big windows, he could see hundreds of alien ships floating in space around Earth. They looked like giant metal monsters with glowing lights and strange shapes. Jake had never seen so many enemy ships in one place before. The alien ships had been there for 3 days now. They came without warning and surrounded Earth like a pack of wolves around a sheep. Jake clenched his fists as he watched them. These aliens thought they owned the galaxy. They thought humans were weak and stupid. Down on Earth, Admiral Lisa Carter was in the main control room of Earth Defense Command. Red lights flashed on every screen. Phone calls came in from every country on the planet. Everyone was scared. Everyone wanted to know what would happen next. Then the message came. It appeared on every screen in the room at the same time. A large alien with snake-like skin and yellow eyes filled the screens. This was High Arbiter Zexthul, the leader of the alien fleet. "Humans of Earth," the alien said in a cold voice. "I am High Arbiter Zexthul of the Galactic Council. Your planet has been found guilty of existing without permission. You have 72 hours to surrender completely. If you do not surrender, we will destroy your world and everyone on it." Lisa Carter felt her blood turn cold. She had been a soldier for 20 years, but she had never heard anything so terrible. The alien continued talking. "You will give us your weapons. You will give us your ships. You will give us your people. Your strong ones will work in our mines. Your smart ones will work in our factories. Your children will be raised to serve us. This is not a choice. This is what will happen." The alien's yellow eyes seemed to look right through the screen. "Do not think you can fight us. We have destroyed 1,000 worlds. We have made slaves of 1,000,000 different kinds of beings. You are nothing special. You are just another weak species that needs to learn its place." The message ended. The screens went black. For a moment, nobody in the control room said anything. Then Lisa Carter stood up. She was a tall woman with gray hair and hard eyes. She had fought in wars before, but never one like this. "Get me president." "Turn her on the phone," she said. "Get me every military leader on Earth. Get me everyone who can fight." Across the planet, people watched the alien message on their TVs and computers. Some people cried. Some people got angry. Some people just sat in shock. But something else happened too. Something the aliens did not expect. Countries that had been enemies for years suddenly became friends. Old fights were forgotten. People who had never agreed on anything suddenly agreed on one thing. They would not become slaves. President Alex Turner called an emergency meeting with leaders from every nation. The meeting was supposed to take hours. It took 30 minutes. Every leader said the same thing. "We fight." Dr. Maria Santos was in her lab studying everything they knew about the aliens. She was Earth's best scientist when it came to alien life. What she found made her excited and scared at the same time. "These aliens," she told her team, "they're not like us. Most of them come from worlds where they were hunted by bigger animals. They learned to hide and run away. They never learned to fight like we do." She pulled up pictures on her computer. "Look at their ships. They're built to scare people, not to fight. Look at their weapons. They're made to destroy cities, not to fight other soldiers. They've never fought anyone who fought back." Maria smiled, but it was not a happy smile. "They think we're like all the other species they've conquered. They think we'll just give up. They have no idea what humans do when someone threatens our families." Back on the U.E.'s Vengeance, Jake Morrison was meeting with his officers. They were all young men and women who had trained their whole lives to protect Earth. Now they would get their chance. "Captain Danny Rodriguez," Jake said to a young pilot. "Are your fighters ready?" Danny nodded. "Yes, sir. We've been practicing the new attack patterns. The aliens won't know what hit them. Jake turned to another officer, Lieutenant Amy Walsh. How are our communication systems? Amy smiled. We've been listening to their radio signals for 3 days. We know how they talk to each other. We can mess with their messages if we need to. Jake looked at all his officers. They were scared, but they were also angry. That was good. Angry soldiers fought harder than scared ones. Listen to me, Jake said. The aliens think we're weak. They think we'll surrender like everyone else. They're wrong. We're not going to surrender. We're going to show them what happens when you threaten Earth. The officers cheered. Jake felt proud of them. These young people were about to fight the biggest battle in human history. Meanwhile, in secret bases around the world, other humans were getting ready too. Dr. Kevin Park was preparing his computer viruses. Colonel Steve Baker was loading his ships with new weapons. Major Tim Walker was training his soldiers for close combat. The aliens had given Earth 72 hours to surrender. They thought 72 hours was enough time for humans to get scared and give up. They were wrong. 72 hours was enough time for humans too. Get angry and get ready to fight Dot. As the clock counted down, Jake Morrison looked out at the alien ships one more time. Soon, those ships would attack. Soon, the greatest battle in human history would begin. The aliens thought they knew what would happen. They thought humans would cry and beg and surrender. They had no idea that humans had been planning for this moment since the first alien ship appeared in Earth's sky. The countdown continued. 48 hours left. 24 hours left. 12 hours left. Then the time was up. The aliens were about to learn something new about humans. They were about to learn that the most dangerous animal on Earth was not the lion or the shark or the eagle. It was the human being with nothing left to lose. Captain Danny Rodriguez flew his fighter through the dark space between the asteroids. His ship was painted black and moved without making any noise. Behind him, 50 other human fighters hid in the shadows, waiting for the signal. Danny looked. At his watch, in 10 minutes, Earth would send its answer to the alien ultimatum. The aliens expected humans to surrender. They were about to get a big surprise. On Earth, President Turner sat in front of a camera. The whole world was watching. The aliens were watching too. Turner looked calm, but inside his heart was beating fast. High Arbiter Zexthol, Turner said to the camera, you came to our world and demanded that we become your slaves. You gave us 72 hours to surrender. Here is our answer. Turner paused. All over Earth, people held their breath. Come and take it. The message went out to every alien ship. High Arbiter Zexthol received it on his flagship, the Dominion's Pride. The snake-like alien laughed. Stupid humans, he said to his officers. They think they can fight us. Begin the attack. Destroy their cities. Make them beg for mercy. But the alien had made a mistake. He thought Earth's answer meant humans would fight with the ships and weapons the aliens could see. He did not know about the trap that was already closing around him. In a hidden base on the moon, Lieutenant Amy Walsh sat in front of a wall of computer screens. She and her team had been working for weeks to break into the alien communication systems. Now they were ready. All teams, this is Moonbase, Amy said into her microphone. Operation Thunderstrike is a go. Repeat, Operation Thunderstrike is a go. The first attack came from nowhere. Dr. Kevin Park and his team of hackers had spent days learning how the alien computers worked. Now they struck. In seconds, they took control of the navigation systems on half the alien fleet. Alien ships suddenly turned toward each other. Their weapons fired at their own allies. Explosions lit up the space around Earth as the aliens shot each other by accident. What is happening? High Arbiter Zexthol screamed at his officers. Why are our ships attacking each other? His officers worked frantically at their computers, but they could not stop the chaos. The humans had taken control of their systems. The aliens were fighting themselves. Then the real attack began. Colonel Steve Baker's ship, the UES Thunder, peered from behind Earth's moon. It was not like the old human ships the aliens had seen before. This ship was new. It was fast. It was deadly. "All ships, this is Thunder," Baker said over the radio. "Begin attack pattern Alpha. Show them what humans can do." 50 human warships appeared from their hiding places. They had been waiting in the shadows, invisible to alien sensors. Now they struck like hunting wolves. The aliens had expected to fight primitive human ships with weak weapons. Instead, they found themselves fighting advanced warships designed specifically to kill aliens. Every human weapon was made to exploit the weaknesses in alien technology. Danny Rodriguez led his fighter squadron against the alien fighters. The aliens flew in straight lines and followed simple patterns. They had never learned to fight like humans. "Red Squadron, this is Red Leader," Danny said. "Remember your training. These aliens don't know how to dogfight. Hit them hard and fast." The human fighters moved like a pack of sharks. They surrounded the alien fighters and attacked from all sides. The aliens tried to fight back, but their pilots had never faced anything like human tactics. In 5 minutes, Danny's squadron destroyed 20 alien fighters without losing a single human ship. The aliens could not understand how the humans were so much better at fighting. Captain Lavra Johnson commanded the UES Fury, one of the new attack ships. She had studied alien ship designs for months. She knew exactly where to hit them to do the most damage. "Target their main reactor," she told her weapons officer. 3 shots right there." The Fury's weapons fired. The alien ship exploded in a ball of fire. Another alien ship tried to run away, but Johnson was ready for that too. "They're trying to escape," she said. "Don't let them. We need to send a message." The battle raged for 4 hours. The aliens had more ships, but the humans had better tactics. Every human ship fought like it was commanded by a genius. Every alien ship fought like it was commanded by a computer. Major Tim Walker led the boarding party that attacked High Arbiter, Zexthal's flagship. The alien ship was huge and strong, but it was designed to scare people, not to fight soldiers. "Breach charges ready," Walker said to his team. "Remember, we want the alien leader alive. He has information we need." The human soldiers blasted their way into the alien ship. The alien guards tried to stop them, but they had never fought against human soldiers before. Humans moved faster, fought quicker, and fought harder than any species the aliens had ever seen. Walker's team fought through the ship's corridors. The aliens shot at them with energy weapons, but the humans ducked and dodged and kept moving forward. Nothing could stop them. On the bridge of the alien flagship, High Arbiter Zexthul watched his fleet being destroyed. Half his ships were gone. The other half were trying to run away. His perfect attack had become a disaster. "How is this possible?" he asked his officers. "These humans are supposed to be primitive. They are supposed to be weak." His communications officer looked up from his station. "Sir, we're getting reports from across the fleet. The human fighters are faster than ours. The human ships are stronger than ours. The human tactics are better than ours." Zexthul could not believe it. The Galactic Council had conquered 1,000 worlds. They had never lost a battle. Now they were being beaten by a species they had never heard of 6 months ago. The bridge doors exploded inward. Major Walker and his soldiers rushed in. The alien guards tried to stop them, but the human soldiers moved like lightning. In seconds, all the alien guards were on the floor. Walker pointed his weapon at High Arbiter Zexthul. "You're coming with us, Snakeface. You have a lot of questions to answer." Zexthel looked at the human soldier. For the first time in his life, he felt fear. These humans were not like the other species the Council had conquered. These humans were dangerous. "You cannot do this," Zexthel said. "The Council will send more ships. They will destroy your world." Walker smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. "Let them come. We'll be ready." As the human soldiers took Zexthel away, he managed to send one last message to the Galactic Council. His voice was full of fear and panic. "Emergency message to the High Council," he said. "The humans are not what we thought. They are not weak. They are not primitive. They are predators. They are all predators. Do not underestimate them. Do not attack them. They will destroy us all." The message ended. The battle of Earth's orbit was over. The mighty Galactic Council fleet had been completely destroyed. Not a single alien ship escaped to tell the tale. On Earth, people watched the news and cheered. The aliens had come to make them slaves. Instead, the aliens had learned that humans were not prey animals. Humans were hunters. But the victory was just the beginning. The aliens would send more ships. They would come back with bigger fleets and stronger weapons. Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the U.E.'s Vengeance, looking at the wreckage of the alien fleet. He knew this was just the first battle in a long war. "Admiral Carter," he said into his radio, "the aliens are going to come back. When they do, we need to be ready for them." Carter's voice came back strong and clear. "We'll be ready, Jake. And next time, we're not going to wait for them to come to us." The hunt was about to begin. Admiral Ben Parker stood in the war room aboard the UES Retribution, looking at a huge map of the galaxy. Red dots showed where the Alien Council had their bases. There were hundreds of them, scattered across thousands of star systems. So many. "Worlds," said Captain Lara Johnson, standing beside him. "How do we even begin to fight them all?" Ben smiled grimly. "We don't fight them all at once. We fight them smart. We hit them where they don't expect it, and we make them afraid." The defense of Earth had been just the beginning. Now came the part that would truly shock the Galactic Council. Humanity was going to war, and they were taking the fight to the aliens. President Turner's message had been broadcast across every communication channel in known space. The aliens had received it on every world they controlled. The message was simple and terrifying. "You came to our home to make us slaves. Now we're coming to yours to set your slaves free." The Galactic Council had never received a declaration of war before. In their long history, they had always been the ones making demands. Now, for the first time, someone was making demands of them. Dr. Sandra Green sat in her laboratory, studying everything humans had learned about alien psychology. What she had discovered changed everything about how they would fight this war. Most of these alien species, she explained to the military leaders, have never been predators. They evolved as prey animals or plant eaters. They're used to running away from danger, not fighting it. She pulled up images on her computer screen. Look at their body language in these videos. When they're threatened, they huddle together. When they're scared, they freeze up. They've never learned to think like hunters. General Patricia Hayes leaned forward. "What does that mean for us?" "It means," Sandra said, "that we can use tactics they have never seen before. We can scare them in ways they can't handle. We can make them panic and make mistakes." The first human strike force left Earth under the command of Rear Admiral Chris Martin. His fleet was small but deadly. 12 ships, each one designed to hit fast and disappear before the aliens could react. Their target was the Kepler sector, a region of space where the aliens had a major command center. The aliens used this base to control 50 different star systems. If the humans could destroy it, they could free millions of enslaved beings. Captain Danny Rodriguez, now promoted, after his success at Earth, led the reconnaissance mission. His job was to scout the alien defenses and find their weak points. "The aliens have a lot of ships," he reported back to Admiral Martin, "but they're all bunched up around the main base. If we can get past their outer defenses, we can hit them where they're not expecting it." Martin nodded. "Just like we did at Earth. They never learn, do they?" The attack on the Kepler sector was swift and brutal. The human ships struck like lightning, hitting the alien base from 3 different directions at once. The aliens had never faced this kind of coordinated attack before. While the space battle raged, Captain Amy Walsh led a team of specialists to hack into the alien communication systems. What they found shocked everyone. "Admiral," Amy said over the radio, "you need to see this. The aliens aren't just conquering worlds. They're enslaving entire populations. Billions of people are being used as slaves." The data Amy's team recovered revealed the horrible truth. The Galactic Council was not a peaceful alliance. It was a massive slave empire. Every species they had conquered was forced to work in mines, factories, and farms. Their children were taken away and raised to serve the Council. On the liberated worlds, the freed slaves told stories that made even hardened soldiers cry. Families separated forever. Children who had never seen their parents. Entire species worked to death in alien mines. "Now I understand," said Major Kelly Thompson, who led the ground forces that freed the first slave camp. "This isn't just about defending Earth. This is about saving everyone." The news of humanity's war spread across the galaxy like wildfire. On every world controlled by the Council, enslaved beings heard whispers of the humans who fought for freedom. For the first time in generations, they dared to hope, but the Council fought back. They sent their elite forces to hunt down the human fleets. These were not the same aliens who had attacked Earth. These were their best soldiers, their most advanced ships, their deadliest weapons. The Battle of the Zarian system was the first real test of human forces against the Council's elite troops. Admiral Ben Parker commanded the human fleet, while High General Korthax led the alien forces. "These humans have been lucky so far," Korthax told his officers. "But they have never faced the elite guard. We will show them what real soldiers can do." The battle lasted 3 days. The alien ships were stronger and better armed than anything humans had faced before. But the humans had something the aliens could not understand. They fought harder when the odds were against them. On the second day of battle, the human ship UE-SEF was surrounded by 5 alien cruisers. The ship's captain, Ryan Foster, was offered a chance to surrender. "This is Captain Foster," he said over the radio. "I've got 5 alien ships trying to make me give up. I've got news for them. Humans don't give up. We fight until we win or until we die." The Defiance fought all 5 ships at once. The crew worked together like parts of a machine. When the engines were damaged, the engineers fixed them under fire. When the weapons were hit, the gunners kept firing with backup systems. In the end, the Defiance destroyed 3 alien ships and damaged the other 2 so badly they had to retreat. The aliens could not believe what they had seen. "How is this possible?" High General Korthax demanded. "1 small ship against 5 of our best cruisers?" His intelligence officer studied the battle reports. "Sir, the humans seem to get stronger when they're outnumbered. They fight better when they're in danger. It's like they're not afraid of dying." Korthax shook his head. "That's impossible. Every intelligent species fears death. It's the most basic survival instinct. Not humans, sir. For humans, there are things worse than death. And slavery is one of them." The liberation of Zarian Prime marked a turning point in the war. Major Kelly Thompson led the assault that freed over 10 million enslaved beings. The sight of human soldiers fighting and dying to free aliens they had never met sent shockwaves through the Council. "Why do they do this?" asked one freed slave, a creature that looked like a giant butterfly, Why do humans fight for us? We are not their people. Kelly smiled and helped the creature to its feet. Because freedom isn't just for humans. It's for everyone. No one should be a slave. The freed slaves stared at the human soldiers in wonder. They had never seen anything like this before. The council species fought for power, for territory, for resources. But humans fought for ideas. They fought for freedom. Word of the liberation. Spread across the galaxy. On every council world, enslaved beings heard about the humans who came to set them free. Some began to resist their alien masters. Others started planning escapes. The council was facing something they had never experienced before, a galaxy-wide rebellion. And at the center of it all were the humans, the species they had dismissed as primitive and weak. Admiral Parker received reports from across human space. More and more alien species were making contact, begging for help. Some offered to join the fight. Others provided intelligence about council weaknesses. We're not just fighting a war anymore, Parker told his staff. We're leading a revolution. And the aliens are starting to realize they're on the wrong side of history. The hunt had begun. Across the galaxy, human ships struck at council targets. They freed slaves, destroyed supply lines, and inspired rebellion wherever they went. But the council was not finished. They were gathering their forces for a massive counterattack. The war was far from over. However, something had changed. The mighty Galactic Council was no longer hunting. Now they were being hunted. And the hunters were humans who had learned that the galaxy was full of people who needed to be free. High Counselor Vextan slithered across the floor of the Great Council chamber on Nexus Prime, his 6 legs clicking against the polished stone. Around him, representatives from 200 alien species argued and shouted at each other. Mighty Galactic Council was falling apart, and everyone was looking for someone to blame. Silence! Vextan roared, his voice echoing through the chamber. We are here to discuss the human problem, not to point claws at each other. The chamber fell quiet, but the tension remained. In just 8 months, the humans had destroyed Council forces across 50 star systems. Entire sectors had rebelled. Slave populations were rising up everywhere. The Council was losing control of their empire. The humans have taken the Andorian cluster, reported General Zakmer, his 4 arms waving in distress. 12 systems gone in a single week. Our forces retreated without even fighting. Retreated? Vextan's eyes glowed with anger. Our soldiers do not retreat. They do now, said Admiral Vexville from her position near the wall. The humans have done something to our troops. They no longer wish to fight. They say the humans are too dangerous, too unpredictable. Across the galaxy, the Council's military was indeed falling apart. Captain Ryan Foster's deep space reconnaissance had discovered something that changed everything about the war. The Galactic Council was not what it appeared to be. Admiral Parker, Foster reported from his ship, the UES Explorer. You need to see this intelligence we've gathered. The Council isn't an alliance of equal species. It's an empire run by about 20 ancient races who enslaved all the others. Parker studied the data on his screen. The truth was shocking. The Galactic Council was actually a cover for the oldest, most powerful species in the galaxy. They had spent thousands of years conquering and enslaving younger species and forcing them to join their alliance. So most of their military forces are slaves too, Parker realized. They're forcing conquered species to fight for them. Exactly, Foster confirmed. And when those enslaved soldiers see humans fighting to free people, they start asking questions. They start wondering why they're fighting for their masters instead of against them. This discovery changed everything about how humans fought the war. Instead of treating all Council forces as enemies, they began reaching out to the enslaved species serving in the alien. Military. Dr. Sandra Green developed a new strategy based on this intelligence. We don't need to destroy the Council's armies, she explained to the military leaders. We need to turn them against their masters. The liberation of the Andorian cluster proved her point. Colonel Gary Mitchell led a combined force of human ships and recently liberated alien allies. But the real victory came when 3 entire Council fleets switched sides in the middle of the battle. This is Fleet Commander Jorith of the Zanari. Forces, came the message over the radio. We no longer serve the Council. We wish to join the human alliance and fight for freedom. The sight of alien ships turning their weapons on their former masters sent panic through the Council leadership. If their own forces were joining the humans, how could they hope to win the war? Commander Helen Davis, now in charge of human diplomatic efforts, found herself busier than any military commander. Every day brought new species wanting to join the fight against the Council. We have requests from 47 different species, she reported to President Turner. They all want to know the same thing. Will humans help them fight for their freedom? Turner's answer was always the same. Yes, freedom is not just for humans. It's for everyone. The Council's response was to become more brutal, if they could. Not control their empire through fear of humans. They would control it through terror. They began destroying entire worlds that showed signs of rebellion. The genocide of Talaxia Prime shocked the galaxy. The Council's elite forces destroyed the planet's cities and killed billions of innocent people. Their message was clear. This is what happens to those who rebel. But the Council had made a mistake. The destruction of Talaxia Prime did not scare people into submission. It made them angry. It made them desperate. It made them willing to risk everything to fight against such evil. Admiral Jake Morrison, now commanding the largest human fleet ever assembled, received an emergency message from the survivors of Talaxia Prime. Please, the message said, help. U.S. The Council has killed our families, our friends, our children. We have nothing left except the desire for revenge. We will fight beside you until every Council world burns. The Battle of Nexus Prime's outer system was the largest space battle in galactic history. Morrison commanded 300 human ships and over 1,000 allied vessels from dozens of species. Against them came the Council's hegemony fleet, their most elite forces. The hegemony fleet was everything the Council had left. Their best ships, their most experienced commanders, their deadliest weapons. For over a century, this fleet had been considered invincible. High Admiral Kethfar commanded the hegemony fleet from his massive flagship. He had never lost a battle in 300 years of service to the Council. He was confident that these upstart humans would be easily defeated. Today we end this rebellion, he told his officers. Today we show the galaxy what happens to those who defy the Council. The battle began at dawn, ship time. The Council forces attacked in perfect formation, their ships moving like parts of a vast machine. It was an impressive sight, and it might have worked against any other enemy. But humans did not fight like machines. They fought like living creatures, adapting and changing as the battle progressed. Every human ship captain made decisions based on what they saw happening around them. Break formation, Morrison ordered. All ships, engage at will. Show them what individual initiative can do. The human and allied ships scattered like leaves in the wind, each one attacking different targets. The Council forces tried to maintain their formations, but they could not coordinate against so many independent attacks. Captain Danny Rodriguez led his fighter squadrons in a daring attack on the Council flagship. His pilots flew like they were born in space, dodging enemy fire and striking at weak points the aliens had never thought to protect. Red leader to all fighters, Danny called over the radio. Remember, we're not just fighting for Earth anymore. We're fighting for everyone who wants to be free. The battle raged for 6 hours. When it ended, The mighty hegemony fleet was destroyed. High Admiral Kethver's flagship was a burning wreck. The Council's most elite forces were scattered across space like broken toys. But the real victory was not the destruction of the fleet. The real victory was the message it sent to every species in the galaxy. The Council could be beaten. The Masters could be defeated. General Patricia Hayes received intelligence reports from across Council space. On dozens of worlds, enslaved species were rising up against their masters. The rebellion was spreading faster than the Council could respond. They're fighting back everywhere, Hayes reported to President Turner. The Council can't stop them. Their empire is collapsing. The most shocking development came from an unexpected source. The Zentari Empire, one of the Council's founding members, sent a secret message to Earth. "We have watched the humans fight," the message said. "We have seen how you treat the species you liberate. We have made a decision. We no longer wish to be part of the Council's empire. We wish to join your federation and help free the galaxy." The surrender of the Zentari Empire sent shockwaves through the remaining Council leadership. If one of their founding members could abandon them, who else might follow? The answer came quickly. Within days, 17 more Council species declared their intention to join the human alliance. The great empire that had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years was crumbling down in the Council chambers on Nexus Prime. High Counselor Vextan faced the reality of defeat. Half his species had abandoned the Council. His military was in ruins. His empire was collapsing. How did this happen? He asked his few remaining advisors. How did these primitive humans destroy everything we built? One of his advisors, a creature that looked like a walking tree, spoke quietly. "Perhaps, High Counselor, the problem is not that the humans are primitive. Perhaps the problem is that we became too civilized. We forgot what it means to fight for something we believe in." Vextan stared at the advisor in shock. Even his own people were beginning to question the Council's methods. Outside the Council chambers, the galaxy was changing. Species that had been slaves for generations were tasting freedom for the first time. Worlds that had been strip mined for resources were beginning to heal. Children who had been born into slavery were learning what it meant to be free. And at the center of it all were the humans, the species that had refused to surrender when facing impossible odds. They had not just saved themselves. They had saved everyone. The Galactic Council was dying. In its place, something new was being born. Something better. The galaxy would never be the same. The great assembly hall of Nexus Prime had never seen anything like this before. Representatives from over 400 different species filled the massive chamber. Some walked on 2 legs, others on 4 or 6. Some flew through the air, others swam in special water tanks. All of them had come to witness the end of the Galactic Council and the birth of something new. President Turner stood at the podium where High Arbiter Zexthul had once delivered ultimatums to conquered worlds. The change was not lost on anyone in the chamber. The species that the Council had dismissed as primitive now held the fate of the galaxy in their hands. "Friends," Turner began, his voice carrying to every corner of the massive hall, "we gather here today not as conquerors and conquered, but as equals. We gather to create something that has never existed before, a truly free galactic community." The chamber erupted in cheers, whistles, clicks, and sounds that had no human equivalent. For many species, this was the first time in their history that they had been called equals by anyone. In the front row, former High Counselor Vextan sat with the other former Council leaders. They had been given a choice: stand trial for their crimes against countless species, or accept exile to the Galactic Rim. Most had chosen exile, unable to understand how their perfect order had crumbled so quickly. Admiral Jake Morrison sat with the other human military leaders, still amazed by how quickly everything had changed. 18 months ago, he had been preparing to defend Earth against extinction. Now he was watching the birth of a new galactic civilization. "Admiral Morrison," Turner called out, "would you please present your report on the state of galactic peace?" Morrison stood and walked to the podium. He was no longer the young commander who had first seen alien ships surrounding Earth. The war had changed him, as it had changed everyone. 2 years ago, Morrison began, Earth faced destruction at the hands of the Galactic Council. Today, there is no more Galactic Council. There is no more empire built on slavery and fear. There is only the Galactic Federation, built on freedom and cooperation. He gestured to the diverse crowd before him. The Federation now includes over 400 species, all free, all equal, all working together for a better future. The applause was thunderous. Morrison waited for it to die down before continuing. But our work is not finished. There are still species out there who have not heard about freedom. There are still worlds where beings live in chains. The Federation Defense Force stands ready to help anyone who chooses freedom over slavery. Dr. Maria Santos took the stage next. She had been studying what she called the human factor throughout the war. Her research had helped explain why humanity had succeeded where others had failed. "We have learned something important about the galaxy," Dr. Santos said. "For too long, species were divided into rulers and ruled, masters and slaves. But humans showed us a different way. Humans proved that any species can choose to be free." She pulled up a holographic display showing the galaxy before and after the war. The difference was striking. Where once there had been rigid borders marking the territories of the Council's slave empire, now there were open trade routes connecting free worlds. "The human victory was not just military," she continued. "It was philosophical. Humans introduced ideas that had been forgotten or never existed: individual rights, democratic government, voluntary cooperation. These ideas spread faster than any weapon." In the audience, Captain Danny Rodriguez smiled as he remembered the early days of the war. Back then, they had thought they were just fighting for Earth's survival. They had no idea they were starting a revolution that would change the entire galaxy. Commander Helen Davis, now the Federation's first diplomatic corps leader, presented the new government structure. It was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. "The Earth Doctrine," she explained, "is simple. Any species that chooses freedom will be defended. Any species that chooses conquest will be stopped. Any species that chooses cooperation will be welcomed." The former slave species in the audience nodded their approval. They had lived under the Council's rule of fear and oppression. The idea of a government based on choice rather than force was revolutionary. "But what about species that are different from us?" asked a representative from the Crystalline Collective, beings made of living rock. "What about species that think differently, that have different needs?" Helen smiled. "That's the beauty of the Federation. We don't require anyone to become like humans. We only require that they respect the freedom of others. Diversity makes us stronger, not weaker." Admiral Ben Parker, now Fleet Admiral of the Bunset Federation Defense Force, outlined the new military structure. It was designed around a single principle: never again would any species face the choice between slavery and extinction. "The FDF is not an army of conquest," Parker explained. "It is a force for protection. We will use the same tactics that liberated the galaxy to keep it free." He gestured to the mixed crews visible in the chamber. Human officers served alongside alien enlisted personnel. Former Council soldiers fought beside the species they had once oppressed. Former slaves commanded ships alongside their former masters who had chosen to join the Federation. "We have learned that the best defense against tyranny is cooperation. When free species work together, no empire can stand against them." The most moving moment came when representatives of the liberated worlds spoke about their experiences. A butterfly-like creature from Zerion Prime fluttered to the podium on gossamer wings. "For 300 years, my people lived in darkness," she said in a voice like wind chimes. "We worked in the Council's mines until we died. We never saw sunlight. We never knew hope. Then the humans came." She paused, her wings shimmering with emotion. "The humans did not come to conquer us. They did not come to rule us. They came to set us free. And when we were free, they asked for nothing in return except that we help free others." The chamber was silent as her words sank in. Even the former council members seemed moved by her testimony. "This is what humans have given us," she continued. "Not just freedom from the council, but freedom to choose our own destiny. Freedom to live as we wish, to raise our children in sunlight, to hope for a better future." As the formal ceremonies concluded, Jake Morrison found himself standing on a balcony overlooking the capital city of Nexus Prime. The city looked different now. Where once there had been massive monuments to council power, there were parks and schools. Where once there had been guard towers and weapons, there were markets and meeting halls. Captain Ryan Foster joined him on the balcony. "Hard to believe, isn't it? 2 years ago, we were fighting for our lives. Now we're running the galaxy," Morrison nodded. "Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if the Council had never found Earth. Would we have eventually found them? Would we have made the same choices?" "I think we would have," Foster said. "It's not in human nature to ignore suffering. When we see someone in chains, we want to set them free. That's just who we are." As they watched, a group of young beings from dozens of different species played together in the park below. Some were human children, others were young aliens whose parents had been liberated during the war. They played the same games, laughed at the same jokes, and shared the same dreams of adventure among the stars. "That's our real victory," Morrison realized. "Not the battles we won, but the future we made possible." The next morning brought news that proved the Federation's work was far from over. A new species had made first contact at the edge of Federation. Space. Their message was simple but significant. "We have heard about humans. We have heard about the Federation. We choose freedom." President Turner smiled as he read the message. It was exactly what they had hoped would happen. The idea of freedom was spreading beyond the borders of the old Council Empire. Species that had never heard of Earth were choosing to join the galactic community of free worlds. Admiral Morrison was assigned to lead the first contact mission. As his ship, the U.S. Liberty, prepared to depart, he reflected on how much had changed since he first saw alien ships surrounding Earth. "All hands, this is the Admiral," he announced over the ship's communication system. "We are about to make contact with a new species. Remember, we are not conquerors. We are not missionaries. We are simply friends offering a choice, the choice to be free." The U.S. Liberty jumped to hyperspace, carrying humanity's message to yet another corner of the galaxy. Behind them, on thousands of liberated worlds, billions of beings continued the work of building a free galactic civilization. The Galactic Council was history. The age of empire and slavery was over. In its place rose the Galactic Federation, built on the simple human belief that all intelligent beings deserved the right to live free among the stars. As Morrison's ship traveled toward its new mission, he thought about the words High Arbiter. Zextal had spoken so long ago. "You are nothing special. You are just another weak species that needs to learn its place." The alien had been wrong about humans being weak. But he had been right about one thing. Humans had learned their place in the galaxy. Their place was wherever freedom needed defending, wherever hope needed rekindling, wherever beings dreamed of living without chains. The galaxy had learned what happened when Earth struck back. Earth didn't just fight for survival. Earth fought for the right of every being to choose.